Welcome to the first episode of the Conscious Currency podcast, where we help creators, what is it? Make an income while making an impact. All right, let's get
There
into
you
it.
go.
Our first guest on the podcast is my man, Rude Noise.
What's good?
Yeah,
What's good,
yeah.
everyone? It's
Um,
popping.
welcome. You just said you were at a Ju-Jitsu tournament. How's that?
Yeah, it was dope. I started doing jujitsu probably about 2 months ago. I just wanted to, I was trying to find something to get into, just some other hobbies and stuff. But it was really good. The energy was fucking wild. I felt like everyone just wanted to like strangle each other. That's what I felt. But it was good. It was dope though. You know what I mean? Like it was cool watching the people from my gym compete. So it was definitely pretty dope. I
That's
fucked with it.
awesome. So you're a part of a
Yeah.
gym then?
Yeah, it's a jujitsu. It's just strictly jujitsu. They have like they have the uniform one and then like no uniform. It's called gi and no gi, but
Okay.
yeah, that
I
it's
did
it's
I
that.
did karate when I was a lot younger, so I know what
Oh,
you mean.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tight. Good
That's
for you,
dope.
man.
What belt are you?
Um,
What rank?
I think I ended at like the blue stripe or like yellow belt.
Oh, oh, okay. That's
Yeah, I
not
did it
bad.
for a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good time. I stopped
Yeah.
when the lady started getting crazy, but it was it was fun while it lasted.
Understandable. Yeah,
Yeah,
understandable.
yeah. So yeah, let's get into it. When did you first start making music? Like, what was the first time opening up any sort of DAW or anything?
So the official first time was it's definitely between 2013 and 2014. That's when I started using FL Studio. So it was around that time. It was definitely
Mm,
around that time. But a couple years before that, I downloaded like a demo, like messed around with it, but it looks so fucking confused. I could swear in here, right?
yeah, you're good.
Okay. It just looked like super confusing and I kind of put it off to the side and then just downloaded it again like a couple years later. So around that time, like 2013, 2014.
Damn, so you're coming up on
Yeah,
10 years.
it's crazy.
Wow,
It's fucking wild.
congratulations.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
What what made you want to start? Like, did you have like an older sibling or something or
What really, I always say that, I feel like growing up, my family was really musical. Like my mom was in like a jazz band. My sister's which has an incredible voice. But what really got me into producing, like making beats, was definitely during, I think it was like ASAP Rocky and like Raider Clan.
mm,
If you remember that whole wave, like with Space Ghost Perp, he was
okay.
just getting like, he got Denzel Curry was part of Raider Clan.
Wow.
Bones wasn't in Raider Clan, but he was affiliated. I'm trying to like think of the bigger names. Like
Yeah.
Xavier Wolf is probably one of the bigger ones, but just the beats that he was making was just crazy. It was almost like 3 6 Mafia style type beats, like old
Okay.
soul samples, and then just putting like gritty drums over it. So that he really got me into producing. And I guess like in high school too, like I wasn't thinking about producing, but I was really into like Madlib, J Dilla,
Yeah.
MF Doom. Like I was super into that stuff, but I just really liked listening to instrumentals, but I wasn't really thinking about making beats at that time. So I would definitely say like Space Ghost Perp got me like, yo, I gotta make some fucking beats like this. Is
Yeah, for
dope, but
sure.
you know what I mean?
That's awesome. I was gonna actually talk to you about Madlib and Jay Dilla because I remember
Oh, I
you
love
seeing
yeah.
I think it was you were on the interview with Adam Ivy. He was and you were talking
Mm,
about that and like
yeah,
just
yeah.
because you found him on YouTube, didn't you?
Um Madlib?
Yeah.
I think so. I'm gonna sound old as shit, but how I really got into listening to different like super underground hip hop stuff was during when like Pandora was popping. Do you remember
Oh, okay.
Pandora? Yeah, when it would you would just put on. I think how I really found them. one of my favorite band of all time is the Gorillas,
Okay.
and I put on Gorillas, and then it started playing MF Doom because MF Doom at that time was in Demon Days and stuff like that. So I was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
who the fuck is MF Doom?" And then it just a fucking rabbit hole, like a Jay Dilla, like all the like Far Side, people under the stairs, Roots, like a bunch of like kind of popular hip hop, but underground hip hop. So I would say shout to Pandora, like that's what put
Yeah.
me on to a bunch of shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
Pandora's, I've known about, I've never really used Pandora, but
yeah,
I've definitely, like, my godparents used them, like, used Pandora. And I was like, whoa, like, I'm getting
yeah. It's
introduced to
dope.
so much, like, similar music
Yeah,
that I enjoy. So, I mean,
yeah,
the whole concept is just awesome. So, definitely shout
yeah,
out to
yeah.
you. That's hella cool, man. When did you, when did you first start getting the idea of, oh, I could actually make like some money off this?
Um, it's so crazy because I tell like, especially, I mean, I'm kind of going left with the question, but I'll answer the first part first. So I would probably say, um, 4 years into producing, I started figuring out about licensing beats. Like Track Train was really big.
Oh, okay.
I think at least I was like following a lot more like underground hip hop, and I know a lot of underground producers use more of Track Train than like BeatStars at the time. But I would say like 4 years into it, maybe 3 years, I I remember just uploading like a couple beats on Track Train, and then one dude bought a beat. I was like, oh shit. Like it was I was like, it was kind of unreal. It's like I just made this sample beat and then like sold it, you know what I mean? Like for like 25 bucks or some shit,
Yeah.
So I would say like 4 years in, definitely started getting the hang, like figuring out the beat selling stuff. But I was gonna say when I first started making beats, I was not thinking about like selling beats at all. I was just like, bro, I'm trying to get Xavier Wolf on one of my beats, like, or I'm
Yeah.
trying to get Denzel Curry on one. I was thinking of that. So technically, it was like placements, but then yeah, I started shifting more towards like beat selling and stuff like that.
Zing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Cool. Actually, this just kind of when you mentioned placements and stuff, you're from Buffalo.
yeah, yeah.
So has like the thought
But
of producing for like Griselda
yeah,
ever
yeah.
crossed your mind? Yeah.
It's no, it's funny. Like, shout out to Griselda. Like,
Hmm.
I I still don't really listen to that like underground hip hop. I'm starting to more. I'm starting to like go back to my roots, and I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of the years when I was producing, I was making a lot of trap stuff, specifically like Nav and like 88 Glam and like super underground shit like XXX Temptation and all that
Hmm.
stuff. So I wasn't really. I'm like ashamed to say it, but like I wasn't really into West Side Gun. I remember my dad saying like when they were popping, he was like, "Yo, Griselda and West Side Gun, Conway." He was like, "Yo, you should make a beat for him." I was like, "I don't really make those type of beats," but like right now, I'm starting to make more hip hop stuff and like lo-fi. I'm just kind of like messing around with it. But yeah, yeah, I know. Whenever I say Buffalo, it's crazy how big they got over the years. It's kind of
Yeah.
wild. You know what I mean? They kind of like revived that old gritty hip hop scene, or that it was always a scene, but they really put Buffalo on the map for one and just like revived that shit. So it was definitely
Yeah.
dope. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a whole movement in itself, like putting a whole nother location
Yeah,
and
it's giving me
vibing.
goosebumps right now. Like it's wild. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
super fucking wild.
that's crazy. Have you ever like run into somebody who knows them or because I
I
don't know how
mean,
big Buffalo is.
it's super small. Like I actually, I'm pretty sure I ran into Conway, and I think West Side Gun was there. But my boy Bill Saber, I don't know. Do you know who Bill Saber is?
No, I don't think so.
He's very like underground. He does like that more, almost like grungy trap, like it's almost like metal and trap mixed together a lot. Like some of his stuff, and then it's like super experimental underground shit. But we were actually in a festival called Taylor Made in Buffalo. I think it was 2017, and it was like Travis Scott was like the headliner, and
Okay.
we like opened up for them. You know, it was a bunch of local people opening up, and I remember bumping into Conway. I was like, "Yo, your shit's dope." You know what I mean? So yeah, like
Whoa.
Buffalo's super small. Like the studio that I like going to in Buffalo, like they go there sometimes. You know, it's super. I really should be more in the community, you know, but it's so tight that I'm bound to run into them or run into like damn near every artist in Buffalo, at least in the Buffalo scene. So it's
Yeah,
dope. It's definitely a tight knit group in Buffalo. I like that.
that's awesome. That kind of reminds me of like how hip hop was starting in New York, like how
Hmm.
everybody just knew everyone. It's,
Yeah,
it's like you said, just so tight knit. So that's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Who have you been listening to heavily right now?
Yo, like, so I would say I go back to like the old shit. Like, I would say overall probably Madlib. Like, I've been listening to like so much Quasimodo and shit. Like the first one,
Hell yeah.
that was that was my shit. But I would say for like newer people, I was telling my boy Eric today about this too. Like, a lot of the newer stuff is so it's not it's not super progressive, you know what I mean? It's like the same shit. Not
Yeah.
saying that it's bad music, but there's not much of a change up. But I would say like probably like Baby Keem is probably my favorite like newer. I know he's not new, but like he's becoming more of a household name mainstream a little bit. But I would
Yeah.
say his album, The Melodic Blue, I didn't listen to Baby Keem before that too. And I'm like, bro, like I've been fucking sleeping on him. He's dope as hell. But even his lyrics, he could talk about some real shit, but it's a lot of like party shit too.
Hmm.
But I'm really into once I found out a rapper produces too, I'm hooked. Like I figured out that he produced some of I think he produced some of the Shandanda. I could be wrong, but he produced a lot of this stuff on Melodic Blue too. So I
Really?
would say, yeah,
Baby Keem?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Wow.
yeah, yeah. He produced. I'm pretty sure he produced a lot of the stuff on there. I think on the new Kendrick shit too. Um, I think he produced a couple of those, but Baby Keem is dope as hell. He's probably my favorite art. I've
Wow.
been listening to a lot of Baby Keem, but then I listen to a shit ton of like Kid Cudi, like that's my shit. But I
Okay.
listen to a lot of older stuff by him. Not a lot of recent stuff. I know he
Yeah,
has that
like
show on
the
Netflix. I gotta catch up on that.
his new one isn't Man in the Moon, is it? Or was that was his old one?
He
Also, shout
came
out
out
Baby
with
Keem. That's incredible.
yeah, Baby Keem is fucking he's my favorite right now out of the newer like artists. And honestly, I fuck with Yeet too. I bumped some Yeet too. I like a bunch of shit, you know what I mean? And I like Yeet too. Not his lyrics as much, but I like how he's trying to do different sounds. He's trying to bring that like rage shit mainstream a little bit or like make it cool underground. And I fuck with that. Like
Oh, you
I
said
always
Yeet?
Yeet, yeah.
Huh. I thought you
Yeah.
were talking about Ye, and you're just like saying it a certain
Oh
way.
no,
I was
Yeet.
like,
Shout to
oh,
Ye
okay.
too. I
But
mean, his crazy ass. Shout to him. He's my one of my favorite producers. But
yeah, he's incredible.
yeah,
But Yeet,
yeah.
I haven't heard that name. I'll have to write that
Oh
down.
really? You heard a Yeet? You heard a Yeet song?
Have
You
I?
don't hear a Yeet
Okay.
song? You might have heard a Yeet song.
If
He's
I like went on Apple Music and like played his most popular, I'd probably recognize.
yeah, yeah.
But
You'll probably recognize. But damn, what I was saying though, the the Kid Cudi. You might be thinking of Man on the Moon 3. I think that came
mhm.
out in 2020. I think
Okay, yeah, that was what I was thinking about.
it was good. I fucked with it.
Yeah, I've heard Kid Cudi was doing a lot like it was almost like a trilogy what he was doing with his music. Like
Yeah, yeah,
the first one with Day and Night and Mr. Rager, I think. Like that was like obviously his big one,
yeah.
but
Mr. Rager is my
it's like
shit. Yeah.
the third installment of that trilogy. I
Yeah.
haven't really listened to Kid Cudi, honestly, but
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
what
when
I've
I
heard.
was in high school, bro, that was like I wanted to be Kid Cudi so bad. So I just, I just bump. I like he connected with me. I mean, if you talk to any of his bigger fans, he just connects with them so much. You know,
Hmm.
like he's super relatable. You know that's the artist that I really like. I think a lot of the artists that I like aren't the best, but they relate to me the most. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's like, and I tell people that too. I'm like, I can name you a top five rappers, but like they're honestly not the best, but they're the most relatable to me personally. So, you know,
That's a
it's
honestly,
all
that's a good
opinion
metric.
based. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what music's supposed to
Yeah.
do at the end of the day is like we're supposed to relate to each other at some point, some to some extent.
Exactly. Yep. Mm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Um, I kind of want to talk about the interview you had with BeatStars, actually. And
Yeah.
you had you had an interesting marketing technique. Are you still doing that? It was the
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I'm completely changing up on how I'm branding myself. So I haven't really uploaded a lot of beats. Um, but I'm not do I am planning to do something with selling beats, but I was like, I feel like what sorry, I'm gonna like go into like a deep hole, but what was the question you're gonna
yeah.
ask? Like
It was
what strategy were you talking
the
about?
you were sending like SMS messages, like
Yeah.
text message marketing.
Yeah.
That's something I wanted to get into for a while. So I was just curious if
Yeah.
you're still doing that.
I don't do it, but if there are producers looking to sell beats, I think text marketing is really fucking good. And it's basically you want to like choose I would say marketing is probably the best even over email because like you want to be super genuine. Like when I was sending out emails, I wasn't using an SMS thing where it was like I was sending them out like separately at in a sense. Like it was saying the same thing, but like I was responding to all of them in a genuine way. You know what I mean? And I feel like with SMS, it's still like people sign up for lists and stuff, but it's still somewhat like not utilized as much as or as emails.
Hmm.
And with emails, it's like, okay, I know I'm on the list. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
not as genuine. But they're not saying that there's nothing wrong with that because there's people that sign up for email lists that just want to get the emails. But I would say for me, I personally haven't done it in a while, but it's a good strategy. You know what I mean? It's definitely a good
yeah,
strategy.
for
Like you can
sure.
get some sales. I mean, I f- yeah. I mean, I feel like when I was at my best, making like over 1,000 a month, it was definitely like uh text messaging helped me out a lot. You know what I mean?
Okay, good to know. So
Yeah.
might have to be, yeah, if you're looking to stand out in a way that you can market yourself, then yeah, text message is probably a good way
Yeah.
to go. But what were you gonna say about
Yeah.
like rebranding yourself? Because you started
Bro,
to get that.
so all I'm doing right now, like I started doing this in the beginning of the year and then I kind of stopped. I seesaw back and forth so much, but like I'm gonna be real, that jujitsu shit helped me mentally. This is kind of like I'm gonna explain where all this all gonna come together. But the best way right now, I think, to market yourself, you have to be super genuine, bro. I'm like literally getting in front of the camera and just talking to it about life shit. I'm talking about like some producer related stuff. It's like it's kind of weird right now because whenever I put out content, you know, you heard of you want to niche down, but like right now, I'm not really niching down. I'm just putting out relatable ass content and
Hmm.
like trying to start conversations. And like, honestly, for me, just doing that, I feel like the rappers that would buy my beats, they hit me up and they're like, bro, like, they personally asked me, like, yo, have you put out any new beats without me even sending them like, yo, check out my new beats because I'm connecting with them on a on a personal level, you know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
that's not really my goal right now. It's I feel like when you shit, like I'm on this podcast probably because you started seeing. I mean, we've been talking for a minute, but
Yeah.
I want to say the content that I've been putting out, you're like, oh shit, maybe we could talk about some stuff on this podcast. I think that's my goal. Like, I've been listening to a lot of YouTube videos in general. You know, it could be like there's this one artist girl that I follow on YouTube. She like paints and shit, but she gives out branding tips. Like I follow like YouTube guys that just talk about YouTube. I follow people that are in the producer community, but like the same message over and over again is like you have to build some type of personal relationship with your audience
Hmm.
because I feel like with selling beats right now, especially if you're trying to like sell beat leases or like do the YouTube game, everyone is doing it. So that's why it's so hard. It's possible, but it's a fucking grind. And I think it's
Yeah.
easier. It's not for everyone though. It's not for everyone to get in front of the camera, talk to it. I think I'm talking my ass off right now. I like to talk about this shit.
No,
So
I
I
was
think
actually gonna
it
ask
helps
you a
me
question
out.
about this, so that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's definitely not for everyone, but I would suggest it. I know this is probably a podcast for producers and shit, but like anyone that's watching this trying to build a brand, probably sound like Gary Vee, but like you gotta like just connect with your audience and some type. I've been listening to shit ton of Gary Vee. Shout out to Gary Vee too.
Yeah,
I've been listening
absolutely.
to him like for a minute, but that's what it really comes down to. And I think my goal right now is just to build a fan base. And that, bro, if I could sell T-shirts and make a good income just from that t-shirt drop, that's my goal. I just want to build a good fan base and like have people support what I'm doing, if it comes to beats, if it comes to a course, if it comes to anything, if it maybe I might have a show, that's all it really comes down to, you know what I mean? In
Absolutely.
my eyes at least.
There's a when you're talking about when you said it when it comes down to a t-shirt, that reminds me of an account on Instagram that I came across recently. It's just called Lovely. And this guy literally
Mm,
just says like very beautiful, heartfelt phrases. Like he'll take a picture
yeah,
of like the film, like the camera, like taking video, and just say, "I just want to take a picture of this moment because I know it won't last forever." It's like just very
yeah,
heartwarming stuff like that. And he has like a whole clothing line, and I'm sure he's
yeah,
making
dude,
bank. So, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
honestly,
I've seen like a couple people on Instagram do like straight up quotes and then sell merch. You know what I mean? Because and
yeah,
the quotes that they're saying are super relatable. You know what I mean? So yeah,
man,
it's dope. I really like that.
it's the name of the game is just relatability.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just one way too. I'm not saying like that's the only way. I feel like for producers, the best way right now to like build a brand is the tutorial shit and like showing people how to make dope loops or just making beats. You know, I think it's easier for showing like a breakdown of like making a whole beat, like the melody, especially the melody. You know, everyone wants to make a dope melody. I fucking suck at melodies. I sample a bunch of shit, but like,
Oh, that's me too, bro.
you know what I mean? That's definitely you know what? I'm like thinking about I want to invest into like a piano class or like I want to get like a drum set and start really learning how to play some instruments because I've been sampling for so long. But like if you can make melodies and you can show people, that's like the ultimate value for a lot of people that make music, and it's cool to watch too. It's super
Yeah,
cool to watch people make, you know what I mean?
yeah, just like seeing the whole creative process because it's like it's like the seeing the man behind the curtain, like when he walks into the studio and comes out with a hit. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, this is what he's
yeah,
doing.
yeah, yep,
That's yeah, that's a really good
exactly,
point.
yeah.
Yeah. So what
um
you said your goals for your brand is just like just to have a deeper connection with people. Is that
yeah,
that's just
honestly, like at least for yeah, and it's just like putting myself one, it's like I mean, I think the first time I was like getting in front of the camera, dude, if I showed you my first video, it's so fucking embarrassing. But like, I think doing that though, I think yeah, it's been like really 3 or 4 years of myself really putting myself in front of the camera. I might have deleted shit over the past years, but like I've been talking to the camera, all that stuff, and it's helped me like be myself more on camera.
Hmm.
But that's my goal. I think right now is just um shout out to, I mean, there's been a bunch of people showing me love, but Nico HD, I think that's his IG, but I think I shared what he said on my IG story, but
Yeah, I saw that.
I think yeah, I'm like, damn, okay, that really felt good, and it's like, okay, I'm doing something right. Even bro, trust me, I stress out about the numbers. Shout out to you're familiar with Curtis King, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hitting him up on the D. He's low key been a mentor to me for like a couple years, but like we've been sending each other voicemails back and forth. But like, trust me, I go through shit. He goes through shit. But like, I was telling him, bro, like, I just I like this content, but I don't know if it's gonna work and all that. He's like, you're doing that thing again. You overthinking shit. Like, just keep putting it out because if you're getting that response back this early from doing it, it's like it's helping one, it's help people out, and it's eventually gonna work. And it's not about the numbers because if I get like 500 people to fuck with me, that's really all that matters. And if they want to buy like a shirt and shit, that would be dope. That would be fucking amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's real, man. Just like not even don't worry about the numbers as much right now.
It's
Worry
it's
about the impact.
so it's so easy to say, but it is really hard. Like that's again, I'm kind of going back to jujitsu, but like um for me personally, I've always been a beast at sports. Like I was always a starter for football,
Okay.
baseball, like all that shit. And doing jujitsu, something new, is like humbling me right now. And I know with jujitsu, like my goal in that's obviously to get a black belt. That shit might take like 16 years or something, like even maybe longer. But it's like I think doing things like that puts stuff in perspective too,
Hmm.
because we live so much in a fast-paced world. But like in jujitsu, bro, you got to put the time in. But like
Hmm.
I feel like with producing and doing that, you can put a little time in and like pop off, but it loses people's reality with shit. It's like, bro, this shit like takes time. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
think that's helping me out, with fucking stupid numbers. Like it doesn't really matter, but it can be mentally draining. It's like, damn, I've been putting in this work and I haven't really been putting in crazy work, but it feels like it sometimes. But you just gotta always tell yourself like, dude, these numbers don't matter. But if I'm like connecting with someone or if I'm helping someone out, shit, if it's just putting out beats and you get 7 people that mess with your beats and you're helping them out, that's all that matters.
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%, man. I want to wrap it up, but thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on, Rude Noise. I hope you all
Definitely.
got some value from that. You dropped a lot of gems.
I try.
And one thing I want to do with this podcast is to send all the guests a recording of the podcast on a cassette.
Oh shit.
So I
I fuck with
am
that.
currently in the process of getting a cassette recorder. I've been trying to get one for a year now. It's been a heck of a deal, but I will get this when I get it up and rolling. I will record this on a cassette and send it to you. So yeah,
That's
thank you
dope as
so much
hell.
for coming on, and hope you guys
Yeah,
enjoyed the
man.
podcast. Peace.
Peace.